Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all our viewers here on Eco Explorers YouTube Live on this pleasant July day. I am Fahim Mubin, your host for this afternoon, and I'm honored to be part of Eco M's initiative to bring us up close and personal to professionals in the field of our country's flora and fauna. Today is no different than any others, as Alhamdulillah, we have here another contributor to Malaysia's Natural Heritage Program. We have Encik Muhammad Ros Effendi Ramli Chua, or known to some as Encik Fendi, who has the wonderful job of looking after one of our national parks, namely one of them being Taman Negara Rompin or Rompin National Park. Encik Fendi hails from Chuping Kanga in Perlis. He studied business management and he has delved into both the world of nature and business, evidently maximizing his potential in both. And I am sure looking at his resume has many wonderful experiences to share with us today. So, Encik Fendi, for a start,
Yes.
please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so hi, assalamualaikum. 32 years old. So been in this industry for over 8 years. I think nine years something. Okay, so I first started as a nature guide back there in Langkawi about 8 9 years ago, and since then I've been developing skills, diving deeper into this area. Okay, so basically looking after the nature is something fun, I would say, because back then when I was started, I knew so little about the nature, about the environment, about the wildlife, flora and fauna and everything. But since then, I kept on learning because it has been my passion since I was a kid to, watching Nat Geos, watching Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunters, and so on. Uh, and it was that moment when I first, you know, stepped my feet in Langkawi. I was like, oh, this is something that I've been looking for uh, during my entire life. And I was so lucky. I was so glad to met some people, conservationists and everything. So since then, I've been instilling the knowledge and everything, and been not so good, but at least should suffice in order to protect the nature, I would say. To spread the knowledge, to share the knowledge about the importance of keeping the natures intact. So
Yeah.
so so that's my aim. Yeah.
All right. That's a illustrious and interesting background. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about your hobbies and favorite activities.
Oh, okay. So the only hobby that I have is bird watching. I've been like going so deep into the subject, like trying to search for more and more birds, doing my own recording of the bird species in Peninsular Malaysia. So most of the times I will fill up my free time, grabbing my binoculars, having a camera, and then taking pictures of the birds. But most of the time, just the binoculars. So because I love to watch uh, how birds work, we will get into that later, okay? Because birds work for both human and nature. But yeah, I would say more towards the nature, because they are so important. As you know, birds are they're extremely sensitive indicators to ecological health. So getting into that has uh, you know been so much fun. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now Encik Fendi, can you please tell us about your job as a nature park manager of Lumpin National Park? What does it entail? What are your daily routines, and are there any challenges that you have relished and made you a better person? Um,
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So I started this position back in 2020. Okay. I was offered to be the park manager over there. So I assume that I was the lucky ones, to be able to look after something so important to Malaysia, so important to the wildlife and everything. So my role is actually to first, when I first started, identify the wildlife, the plant species, in order to have a better understanding about that place. Or else, without knowing anything about uh, the park, I won't be able to get people to see what's there, you know. So I first started by grabbing my binoculars and then look around, and wow, that place is totally amazing. 120 species of birds just in the park. Okay, uh, and then I made a list of the potential wildlife and the areas that we are able to spot the wildlife and so on. So the moment that within that 6 months, so I've got to see some animals that I have not yet seen before.
Yeah.
Okay, in the wild. For example, tiger.
Hmm.
Okay, spotted it in the middle of the road. And then the park is actually home to the Raffles banded langur, so which is critically endangered now. It is going to be listed as critically endangered. So the first thing is that I did was to identify the animals and then the places where uh, that have the potential to get to see them. And then the second, it will be, you know, to bring the visitors into the park, and then how to share the knowledge to the visitors. So we come up with the modules, doing some activities for the adults, for the kids, jungle trekking, hiking, kayaking, and everything. So I tried every trails available, and then we made up some new trails as well, and then we tried paddling, kayaking along the river. So we ended up, yeah, getting well known in terms of the activity. But when I first arrived there, we try to do it differently compared to you know other places where basically we do not just bring the guests into the forest,
Yeah.
but we want the guests, by the time they return, they have at least appreciate something along the way, because we couldn't just simply justify that this person has to love birds, for example, this person has to love mammals. No, because it's up upon the individual. So basically, at least when we share the knowledge, there will it's like turning on the switch for the
Yeah.
visitors. So that's how I create a community that will soon have passion towards the nature as well, same as I do, the same as we all do.
All right. That sounds very interesting. I believe you have some photos or videos that you would like to share.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, being in this position, it's like uh I'm not being boast here, but yeah, it's my luck and it's been my passion this whole years, and then I've been so lucky to be able to be part of Rompin State Park, and now I'm showing you the screen of some of the animals that I've managed to capture and some videos as well, that we might be able,
all right.
you know, to see together.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, cool. So remember when I talked about the Langer before, the banded Langer. So this is the Raffles banded Langer that is soon going to be listed as critically endangered. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful Langers that we have here, and so far only I think maybe less than 100 or 2
I see.
individuals are in the park. Okay, and guess what? You know, when when we go into the park, for example, okay, we don't simply just, like I said earlier, we don't simply just take the gas into the forest and then just show, okay, this is monkey, this is so basically we try to tell the full name of the animals and then some
Yeah.
fun facts about it. for example, this Langer here, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the fun fact is the baby is born white.
I see.
Instead, unlike the adult, which is fully grayish, blackish in color, so baby is born completely different compared to the
Oh,
adult. And from there, uh, we will cross ref with the other sources, and then we try to figure out why the baby is born that color instead of the color of the adult.
yeah,
uh, because we were wondering, like the dusky leaf monkey, for example, the baby is born orange. So we were wondering why the baby is born so bright. Wouldn't wouldn't that color be attracting the predators to see the baby clearly rather than the adult, where the adult is black and blends with the color of the background up in the
yeah,
canopy, right? So cross referring with you know a few references, so we come up with the uh, hypothesis that the orange might be resembling the color of the fruits, where the predators, the carnivores, will not go after the fruits. It might be one of the reasons, okay? So it could be a different reasons, but those are the things, the stories that we are trying to share with the visitors that come to the park, So we are blessed to be here in Malaysia, which is one of the, mega diverse countries in the
yeah.
world. So and we are more likely to have these species, for example, in the park that we can appreciate them, okay?
Yes,
So next, for example, even we would like to have the visitors coming into the park even at night, so some of the potential animals that come into the park at night will be the leopard cat, so something
yeah.
that is rarely seen in the wild, okay? So that is, you know, one of the seven species of cats that we have recorded in the park. So we have tigers, we have leopards, we have Asian golden cat, we have the clouded leopard, the leopard cat, the marble cat, and then the flat-headed cat. So all seven species are found there in the park. And to make it even better, we have seven out of seven species of cats found in Peninsular Malaysia in Rompin State Park.
Sorry,
So no
what was
other,
this? The name of this cat again?
the tiger.
The one in the picture.
Okay, this is the leopard cat.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So quite small, just like I think slightly bigger than the size of the feral cat. But this one is
Yeah,
nocturnal. So to see them only at night, not during daytime. Okay. So yeah, those are the things, the interesting things, that we have there in the park that we want people to visit and then to look at, and I'm being extremely lucky, I would say, to be able to
yeah,
manage the park in that way, because yeah, other people will have a different perspective of how they look at the nature, of how they look at the animals, and my personal approach is to want people to appreciate what Malaysia has, in particular, okay?
yeah.
Yeah, and then we can correlate the stories. For example, the nighttime, okay? The leopard cat, for example, active at night, and there must be a reason. So because in science we will be talking about the proximate and the ultimate question of how and why, okay? Of how these animals come out at night, something like that, and then why it comes out at night. And one of the reasons, it could be that it looks for food, which is the mouse deer, this cute little creature here, okay,
Mm,
that you would probably see if you venture into the park and then join us for the night walk, for example, and then our guide will be showing you around, and of course if you're lucky though. So
So
this,
these mouse
yes,
deers are very small, aren't they?
oh yeah, it is so small. I think about the size of a cat, I would say, the normal cat, the feral cat.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
tiny, so quick. You just catch a glimpse of it and then it's gone. but you will hear it stamps the feet on the ground 3 times before it escapes. So
Mm.
yeah, those are the things that you know that makes it quite interesting in the park. And then we have one of the largest squirrels in Malaysia, the cream-colored giant squirrel. The maximum length can reach up to 80 centimeters long. So
Oh,
you will see this creature daily, like crossing on the cable, and then foraging, looking for food and everything. So uh, it makes the life in the park so wonderful, by having this companionship
yeah.
of the wildlife. Okay, so few of the animals, and some could be beautiful, but you know slightly dangerous.
Mm.
For
Yeah.
example, the species of snake here. Okay, you can see the beautiful orange, the bluish color of the back, and then you can see the forked tongue of this animal, but
Yeah.
round eyes. So most probably this is not a venomous one, because I could like get so close to this species, and then we have some species which is like quite venomous. Yeah.
So I've always wondered, how can you tell if a snake is venomous or non-venomous?
Oh, okay, so that's a tough question. So basically, it involves study in the first place. So we can't simply just tell by the shape of the retina, for example, like the evil retina and then the cute retina. None. So basically, a study is involved, to do that. And I would suggest that you know going to some websites to check on the details and read some papers by scientists to check on the amount of the venom they can produce, and then the amount of the venom that can be lethal to human,
Yeah.
because scientists have been conducting experiments for years, you know in the lab, for example, and then that is the only way, the only guaranteed confirmed way on how we can get to know either the species is venomous or not.
Mm. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that would be so interesting as well, okay, is to observe uh, the behavior of the birds. But before that, let me show you the baby of the dusky leaf monkey. Look at the orange color, so bright, so beautiful,
Wow.
so cute, right? So this is
Yeah.
a newly born baby, and we will stay with the mother for at least 6 months onwards before the color change to the color of the adult.
It
Okay,
looks
gradually.
almost like another animal, a
Oh yeah,
different
it looks,
animal.
yeah, it looks completely like a different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been blessed to be able to live within this era, that we are able to see the beauty of the nature. And especially, if I would encourage people to be better than me, so that they can have a better place to go and a better place to look after, with a more diverse, you know animals and everything, because I can tell you that it's super fun. Okay, it is super fun to be able to look at these animals and then to look at the behavior, like the wreath hornbill here, for example. There you go. Can you spot the bird?
It's in the top right corner of the image.
Oh yeah, look at the pouch. So what do you think the pouch is for? The
It's
blue
like
pouch.
a. Is it to store food?
Yeah, definitely, that one is used to store the food. And this is uh one of the hornbills in Malaysia out of 10, and only a few in the world have that pouch in order to store the food. But one fun thing about the hornbills is that they are the farmers of the forest. They
Oh,
help to spread the seeds of the plants. So seeds, on flight, digesting the seeds, dropping on somewhere, growing up, becoming a new tree in a new place. So basically, it helps to create the forest in a, uh, indirectly, okay,
Yeah.
help to increase the diversity of the plant species of the forest, of the rainforest, in particular. So one
If
of the
I'm
beauties, yeah,
sorry, if I'm not mistaken, I think some monkeys also do that. They will eat the fruit, and then they will spit out the seeds to disperse it. Am I right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. So most of the animals help to disperse the seeds,
Yeah.
but it's the distance that differentiate between one animal to the other.
Yeah.
You know, monkeys, for example, they're very good at, you know, increasing the number of the plant species within the area given.
Yeah.
Okay, and for the birds, we know that birds can fly, so they can
Mm.
spread it further.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, this wreath hornbill here, for example, that I spotted in Rompin State Park. Okay, it was on my one of my lucky days. Okay, but in Langkawi, for example, when I stayed there, so I've been observing the wreath hornbill, okay, coming in and out of Langkawi once a year. So starting October and then up until June before the species totally disappear, and then will be coming back next year. Okay, so on my observation, it could be that the wreath hornbill is actually a facultative migrant, that they migrate under certain conditions where they are not obliged to migrate, but they migrate because they are forced to go to a new spot in search for food, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the something that you know people, for example, like, me, be able to look at and then to see it better, so this is one of the beautiful birds, one of my favorite birds that I have in Malaysia.
So what's the natural habitat for most hornbills? Because I'm not mistaken, there are some the hornbills, they all live in the Amazon forest in South America, right?
Hold on, give me a minute. Oh yeah. So what was the question again?
Um, is it like very common to have hornbills in Malaysia, and what's like the natural habitat for them?
Okay, so different species of hornbills prefer a different habitat. For example, okay,
Yeah.
on the northern part, so we won't get to see the wrinkled hornbill, for example. Okay, let me go through my gallery, okay, to show you the wrinkled hornbill. Eh, I don't know if I have the picture or not. I have lots in my galleries, like
Mm. Yeah.
yeah. So this is the wrinkled hornbill. So you can see that it has three, four, five colors around it. So this is the male of the wrinkled hornbill. So which is unique to Southeast Asia, and for Malaysia, it is found from the central, if I'm not mistaken, from the central unto the southern part of Peninsular Malaysia, where this one prefers a uh, what's that? Uh, the marshland forest, if I'm not mistaken, the peat swamp
Mm.
forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the habitat. So we won't get to see on the northern part of Peninsular Malaysia. Uh, that makes it incredible, So, for example, if you work as a guide or as a park manager or park executive or something related to that field, you are able to, like, move out and then from one place to another, and then high chance for you to be able to spot these animals, is this
Yeah.
incredible, magnificent creature.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the peat swamp forest. And then, yeah, so many things to see in my gallery though.
Yes.
And some of the days, I will be lucky enough, to record the videos of the
Mm.
animals. Okay, for example, here, but I've been shooting just mostly birds, So, but let's check it out. The black and red broadbill, beautiful, a pair of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see the female is at the back, and then he's in
Mhm.
front. So we can see that the different size, where she is slightly bigger, just slightly bigger compared to the male, and that
I see.
rule applies to some of the birds in the world. For example, the raptor, the eagles. Okay. Oh, I have the video of the banded langur. So let's take a look. There you go. So this is what we've been showing the visitors into the park, to have a better understanding, to appreciate the nature, and then to look at the beauty of it. Because some animals, it's not proper to say this, okay? It's not proper to say that some animals, they share uh, some characteristics that even if one of the two uh, disappears, it will not be affecting the ecosystem at all. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they are, uh, what they do is very similar. Is it?
exactly, exactly. Okay, but in terms of the value, these two have completely different. These are completely different in terms of the value. Where, for example, if you look at the banded langur that I just showed you the video, and then the dusky leaf monkey, the one with the orange baby, both are herbivores, frugivores. Okay, so when we look at the behavior that they both, for example, spread the seeds, okay, and they even feed on the same species of plants. But for the banded langur, for example, it is listed as critically endangered, so it has higher value. Okay, so people tend to appreciate one that is almost extinct over the common one. Am I right? Okay,
Yeah.
so we call that as the flagship species. Okay, so the flagship species where the value of that species is higher, outweigh the benefit that we can get, but because of the numbers are decreasing, so it makes us want to protect the forest of Endarompin, for example, in order to keep the species alive. And by keeping the forest, just to keep the species alive, so it means that we are benefiting the other animals as well. So the other species will take advantage of the protection of the forest, and then over the time, we can see the rest of the species will grow in number as well. So that is how it works, you know,
Yeah.
uh, right now. Okay, cool. And then we are able to see this beauty every day as well. Look at the whiskered tree swift, and look at how gorgeous it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever I do the bird watching trip, I will definitely show this bird, and then I will definitely tell. of how we've been treated by the bird the whole time, to
Mm.
see it as blue, but in fact, it's not blue at all. I wish you could get into the park and then join me, so I can tell you everything around, okay? Yeah, and then this woodpecker here, one of the largest that we have in Malaysia.
Wow.
Look at that. The orange backed woodpecker. This is the male. Male often has the red crest on top of the head, okay?
Mm.
And the other thing that I've been enjoying every day, okay, since I started in this industry, that I've been hearing birds sing for us, okay? So try to spot this bird around, and then yeah, the common bird, but this is the bird that always sing for us every day. Okay, the beautiful song of the nature comes from the birds, the animals, the cicadas, okay, the monkeys and everything. So lots of things to see and lots of things to discover every day. Even in fact, there are still more things for me to see in the park. Okay, so those are just a few that you know I've been showing you.
Mm.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Not not particularly. So we do have one question in the chat though from Fahan Rais. He says, Salam Encik Fendi. What type of camera do you use to capture your shots and videos of the animals?
Okay, so I'm using a bridge camera. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, the camera is just with me here. So my model is Canon. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Nikon. Sorry, Nikon.
yeah.
And can you read this?
Um,
I'm trying to adjust.
little bit hard to see. Maybe if you take the blur off,
Yeah,
is
can you
it
see it now? So
the
it's
full?
Coolpix
Yeah,
B700.
yeah.
So this is the camera that have been loyal to me for like I think 4 years. Okay, and those shots are taken with you know only these cameras. So because my purpose is not to you know for some it is a business, it is an industry. Okay, photography is an industry, but for me I just use it to record of my sightings, so at least I have proof of what I've spotted along the way,
Yeah.
especially birds, because my I would say my area specialty is bird. Okay, so by capturing the bird, then I would be able to you know get back home, and for some animals that I could identify, so I could use that to cross ref with the guidebook, okay, the field guide, so that way I would be able to ID it later. Okay, so this is a budget, a good one. So I would encourage people to get this one because it can capture in raw. So basically you can edit it better.
And we have another question from
Yeah,
Sri Kayan Montessori. Encik Fendi, have you been bitten by these animals and did it affect you?
yeah. I was bitten by a spider, uh, Nephila pilipes, the golden orb weaver, one of the largest spiders that we have in the world. Okay, so the family is Nephilidae. So yeah, you know, it's quite painful though, but luckily we have no deadly spiders in Malaysia. So I would say that is one of the experience. And then of course the insects, the bees, the hornets. Never been bitten by snakes, but I once been attacked, not attacked, but the hornbill, the great hornbill, wanted to protect itself, because it fell off the tree. Okay, so what we did was we brought the great hornbill. So that is the largest hornbill that we have in Malaysia. So beautiful. I will show you the picture later. When I was in Langkawi,
Yeah.
the beak alone is a foot long, so 12 inches. So imagine it's like that's the beak, the length of the beak. Okay, so yeah, but then the rest, no. Some people do have experience bitten by snakes, for example. Okay, but
Yeah.
I've been lucky so far. I try to avoid that. Okay, try not to get too close to the snakes. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, I'll show you another one picture of the snake. Okay, if you allow me to.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. The pit viper, beautiful. I was like 2 meters away from the snake using the same camera. So you know this is quite something if you're bitten by it. Okay,
Mm.
it may not cause death, but it hurts a lot. So that's what I've been hearing from my colleagues of how painful uh, the bite from the snake. Okay, so of course I'm not trying to scare any of you. Okay, but uh, you know there is always a risk in everything that you do. Okay,
Mm.
you walk, you run, you
Yeah.
sit, and everything that you do, there is a risk behind that. Okay, but if I keep thinking about the risk, uh, I won't be able to achieve what I've been dreaming of. Okay, so I still do think about the risk, but the excitement outweighed the risk. So I step my foot in it, and yeah, there's no going back. So if I see the animals, I see it. If I'm, you know, be in danger, and then you know what to do, because we share the same path. I share the same path as the animals. Then something that I have to to bear in mind. But for everyone, the challenge is a beautiful journey there. So I wish like everyone can have the same experience as I
Yeah.
do. Okay, so that you know this will be something. This will be something.
Okay. We have three more questions.
Yeah.
One of them is we'll go through them. One is from Echo Explorers Malaysia. What is the most satisfying part of your job?
Okay. The most satisfying part is when I do the guided activity myself and be able to share my knowledge with the participants, and to see them smile, and the moment they return they could remember the things that I spoke along the way. And then you know uh, for them to reach me back the moment they reach home, for example, okay, to reach me back, saying thank you for sharing the knowledge. And yeah, wow, that is speechless. I would say that is speechless. Okay,
Yeah.
especially I was quite lucky enough because in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, uh, I was offered to lead uh, the Royal Highness uh, Sultan Kedah, okay, for a short nature walk when I manage Darul Aman Sanctuary in Langkawi, and yeah, he is so into the nature. He loved the nature so much,
Yeah.
and there is one of these satisfying things that have happened to me in my life. But most importantly, to be able to share the knowledge is that is the most wonderful part of this job.
All right. And next question. Um, okay, another question from Fahad Rais. He is asking, what is the appropriate and essential gear required for a forest or nature park ranger for their everyday job?
Okay, so it's not like we have to have a clothes outfit or whatsoever. None. You don't have to. Okay, so just for me, I try to wear something simple. Okay, something that would dry quickly, and then
Yeah,
shoes. Uh, if you want to, mosquito repellent, of course. Not that we have the viruses or whatsoever there, none. Okay, but due to the itchiness of the mosquitoes.
yeah,
Okay, and then for me, of course, in the park, I will try to put the longest socks that I have.
yeah,
Because the park is home to myriad of the mammals of the wildlife, so it means that there are leeches around. So I try to avoid that in the first place.
mm,
So longer socks, and of course, for the best experience of all, binoculars and a camera.
yeah,
So you are good to go. If that happens, you are good to go. Okay, so those are the essential things that you would have. Of course, in terms of the safety, we do have the radio, the walkie-talkie that we can communicate in case of emergency or something.
yeah,
But when we talk about the safety, we have this thing that we must have, and then when we talk about the experience, and then these are the things that we need to have in the list, and then you're good to go. You don't have to get something fancy, okay? Something
yeah,
like cost 1,000 or two, for example, like my camera here, that should suffice to you know get the best experience in the nature.
mm, okay. Mm, okay, and the last question from one Juliana, one Ahmed. Have you seen or record any big mammals in the park?
Oh yeah, the largest of all, the second largest in the world, land
Uh,
mammals. Okay, so what's that?
the elephant?
The elephant. Yeah, I
Oh,
was so close to the elephant that it was like 5 meters away from me. We were so lucky that night, because I don't know, because once we get into the park, okay, so this happens. Okay, I try to relate this with the second question that you asked me earlier. Okay, why do I do and something. So like I said earlier, we try to protect the nature. Okay, so
yeah.
the moment that we got into the park, okay, like I said, the first thing is to have the animals to feel like they're at home. Okay, we are in their home. It's not that
Mhm.
they are in our house. Okay, so we are in theirs instead. So, and then over the time, with all the things that we do, we you know something simple like putting plastics into the proper place, into the bins. Okay, try not to, okay, throw the waste of the foods everywhere, and then uh, we put some rules and regulations that have to do this, to do that, and then over the time you could see that the animals are coming back into the park and getting pretty close, but in a harmless way. Okay,
Mm,
in a harmless way. So that night, because we planted some garden plants that it could be the elephants has never tried it before. So that way, when it tried that night, yeah, it felt that it's quite tasty, and then it took out all of it. Okay,
mm,
and at one time we had 13 elephants coming into the park, and most of the times that one particular individual, the male with the task, uh, you know, get into the park and then try to rob everything that we planted. But we think of it as a something fun to look at. Okay, and even the experience had been had happened to one of our in-house guests. Because he woke up at about 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So he suddenly woke up, and then when he looked down from the balcony, then he saw five elephants with two babies. So that's Rompin State Park. So let me hold on, okay? I'll tell you when to share the desktop to show you the picture of
Okay.
the elephant. Yeah, so if you can turn on the sharing,
I
or
think
should I?
you have to
Okay,
share
I
your
will
screen first.
share entire screen share. Okay, so that's the man.
Wow.
Yeah, we haven't named it yet, so maybe we'll name it after you. Okay, so this is a handsome boy
Yeah.
feeding on our poco ubi. You can see those poco ubi, and they always think like, yeah, so crunchy, so yummy. And uh, past that night, okay, we try to expand the field to make it bigger and then to make it bigger. It's not that we are cutting any trees or whatsoever, because the place been like that before us got in. So we just use the space that is available. So planting something, and then yes, this is the result of what we are doing in Brompton State Park. Beautiful. So imagine 5 meters from that elephant. How does it feel? Amazing.
Um, were you scared when you took the picture?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Ne-
So
I've never been scarier.
uh,
Yeah.
what do you like? Elephants, do they usually eat a lot, or can they go like many days without food, or what's like
Okay.
their diet?
So yeah. Uh, but looking at the diet of the animals, if you look at for example, the food chain. Okay, the food chain. So we look at the bottom, we have plants, and then we have the herbivores, and then we have the second consumer, the third consumer, and then the apex predators and everything. Okay, so in order to sustain from one level to the other, okay,
Yeah.
so the herbivores must the first one at the base, the food must supply at least 10% of the total body weight for the herbivores.
Mm.
Okay, so it means that the herbivores must contribute 10% to the predator. So it means that, let's say that the elephant is 5,000 kilos, so it needs to eat about 500
Mm.
per day.
I see.
So imagine how much is it?
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Right? Yeah, well, that's a lot actually, half a ton. You know, so assuming that the elephant is 5,000 kilos. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else you would like to share, Encik Fendi, before we um, start to close off,
Okay.
wrap up?
My daily view. I will show you my daily view. Okay. There you go. The waterfall. So this is the thing that I've been seeing every day for these past 2 years. This is my garden. This is my home. This is my everything there in the park. So under pressure, get there, I'll be totally calm. You know,
Yeah.
physical health not in good condition. Take a bath, good. You know, sore eyes, look at the waterfall, look at the beautiful view of the surrounding, and then everything's
Yeah.
So this is something. Okay, Sri Makota waterfall. So named after the present Ago
Mm.
back there when he was the crown prince of Pahang.
All right. Um, okay. Thank you so much, Encik Fendi.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I see another one question there.
oh,
Final question from me. What scope of research would you suggest to researchers that would benefit the park? Oh yeah. Hmm. I would say one would be research about the tigers. Because whenever I do trekking over there, I would see the footprints of the tigers. It's like this size, the footprint. Okay, huge, beautiful. So because based on my understanding that the number of the tigers have been, like it raised concerns. Okay, so maybe doing something there would be benefiting the park, and then of course we can do uh, research about the biodiversity within the
mm,
park. There are
yeah.
still a lot more to explore in the park, and there could probably be some new species like the crustaceans, the freshwater crabs, for example, or even the spiders or some other insects. So I would say lots of topics that we can cover that would later, benefit the park, and then we'll put it to fame in the world, and then we could see that more and more people will be appreciating the nature or appreciating Rompin State Park in particular.
Okay. If that's all, thank you, Encik Fendi, for your inspirational words. For our
Yeah.
viewers, may we all be blessed with the same similar career development and experience that will allow us to grow professionally like yourself. I hear that there is a trip coming up in a few months to Mersing, near where you work, which
Yes.
AKM is organizing. Can you please tell us a little bit more about this trip that is being planned?
Okay, so the trip we will try to cover the beauty of Mersing from a different perspective. Okay, Mersing is known as a touristic spot to get to Tioman Island, and that's about it. But we want to look at how majestic the place is, with the islands in the surrounding, with the mangroves. Okay, few species that we can get so close to the plants itself, and then we can see the relationship that the mangroves have indirectly with the organisms within the surrounding area, you know, birds, fish,
Yeah.
and everything. Okay, so and then if we can make it in time, and then we might be visiting Rompin State Park where I'm working at, and then we can cover two different, the same nature but another different angle. Okay, the rainforest part of the nature.
Yeah.
Okay? So that would be the most interesting one of the whole trips in Malaysia, so you can cover both the sea and the land and the forest.
Okay. Thank you again, Chip Fendi. I, for one, cannot
Sure.
wait for this program that Explorers have in store for everyone. And we pray that all of EcoM's aspirations will and yours will come to success for the sake of sharing the legacy of our wonderful country's natural heritage, our plants, animals, and resources of our beloved Malaysia. Thank you, everyone, who for joining us in this late afternoon. May I take this opportunity to wish those of us observing Hari Raya Haji a most wonderful celebration and time with loved ones. I'm Fahim Nobin, signing off from Echo Explorers Malaysia. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Encik Fendi.
You're welcome. All right, take care.
Bye.